Hi, this is Champlet2 on the PlayStation Network. This series of videos will show all of the preps, setups, and finales of Act 1, 2, and 3 of the Doomsday Heist. After doing this heist a few times, I've noticed how difficult it is to try to follow the storyline while shooting and trying to stay alive. So that's what inspired me to make these videos to allow you to watch it, almost like a movie. I'll make every effort not to talk over the heist story dialogue so you can hear what the story's all about. I'll offer some basic information about these heist missions, but this will not be a tips and tricks video for the Doomsday Heist. This video includes all of the Act 1 setups, and you can skip ahead to a specific setup mission using the times in the video description if you'd like. There's also a playlist on my channel, so you can watch all of the preps, setups, and the finale of Act 1 all together, as well as Act 2 and Act 3. In Act 1, The Data Breaches, there are 3 setup missions. The first, at least the first that's listed, you can do them in any order. The first is Set Up Dead Courier. You must complete or purchase or steal the paramedic equipment from the first prep before you can do it. Now you'll see here as we come into this, it's the same regular heist menu that you're used to seeing for all the heists prior to the Doomsday Heist. We're just going to come through here and I'll skip part of this in the interest of time. There's 2 teams in Set Up Dead Courier. The first team is paramedics, and later in this video I'll show you the other team, which is the recovery. But we'll take a look at the paramedics first and see what's required for this role. Setups can be completed either in a public room or an invite-only session. Either way, it kind of puts you out into your own little session. It's not like the people from the public room are going to be able to interfere with the setup. The advantage of doing it in an invite-only room is that when you're done, it'll put you back in that private room as opposed to a random public room.
Get in the ambulance and head over there. They'll see you dressed up like that and won't ask any questions.
I wasn't paying attention at first, so I got in my own car.
Okay, you're in your teams. Team 1 goes into the coroner's office to recover the data. Team 2 goes after the dead agent's transport chopper. An agency courier was murdered on the streets of Los Santos. This is probably a setup, but there's still a chance we can get a hold of his package of data. Keep going. As discussed, you'll need the ambulance and paramedic equipment you sourced to gain access to the coroner's office. Avon, the agent was carrying the data, correct? Where do you have it? Yeah, standard procedure. He was carrying rectally. You swallow memory sticks? Sometimes. Sometimes they go the other way. All roads lead to, paradise. The rectum. Sadly, it's the most secure thing we've got right now. Unless you get killed. Yeah, well, it's obviously a setup. Has to be. Anything else is statistically impossible. It can be stated with a high degree of statistical certainty that it is by no means statistically impossible. Clifford, what did I tell you? Pause program. Just get the data, okay? Sorry, Dad.
I don't remember why I stopped by the road back there, but oh well, we'll keep going. Here in a minute I'm going to skip ahead, but we've got a little more dialogue first.
Let's get this done and we can get back to robbing banks, okay?
So to save a little time, I'm going to skip ahead now up to arriving at the coroner's office. And you may also see some other little disjointed edits throughout this video. I skipped things like changing weapons, putting on armor. I skipped a failure once just because I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time on that sort of thing. I just wanted you to be able to hear the storyline and get the basic information that you needed to complete this heist.
be agents all over the place. Trust those public sector goons to work at cross purposes. Okay, play it cool. You don't bother them, they won't put the place in lockdown. Okay, LS County Coroners. Get in there and find that memory stick.
As I said, this was the first time I had ever done this, and I figured I just had to get to this parking lot, but that apparently was not specific enough because it keeps telling me to get back in the ambulance. So when I realized that, I came back over and tried to park it right on the yellow dot, which is in the parking spaces behind me. Not sure why it's that picky, but oh well. There it is.
Storage. Make your way over there and find that agent. Remember to act cool. You're supposed to be paramedics. Hey, and don't go up to the top floor unless you've got some small talk to make with half the bureau. You there? They're there. Now search those bodies until you find that data. Dig deep, people. It's in there somewhere. No data there. Keep searching. The floor above you is restricted. They will shoot on sight up there, and who knows what else. Not what we're looking for. Find that memory stick.
Apparently you have to be on the right side of the body to do the search.
They've searched the bodies. The stick's not there. Fuck me. They harvested it. Is a dead agent's anus not sacred anymore? Okay, wow. While we all think about that, just head upstairs. With any luck, the files will be on a laptop up there. This is data we're being paid to get. Thousands upon thousands of transmissions and requests. Impossible to make sense of. Unless you're a supercomputer. Super network, which Avon's AI Clifford is. Getting it could help him stop a war, and will help us get rich. If they found the data, the Bureau might be jumpy. Treat any security with extreme caution.
Earlier it said if you pull a weapon you're going to alert the guards, but once you come around here you start seeing guards.
They will shoot on sight up there, and who knows what else.
So now you need a weapon.
What a pain! You dirtbag! I got it!
Heads up, the paramedic team's blown their cover. This may get a little more complicated.
So that notifies the recovery team that you've been spotted when you're the paramedic.
Moron! Put the weapon down!
Again, I was really slow because I'd never seen this before.
Ass!
Had no idea what to expect.
I'm gonna shit down your neck!
Boy, these are really friendly guys, aren't they?
Moron!
So the trick is to just be on the lookout as you're coming up the stairs, and they can also come up behind you.
Hell! Take cover!
So keep that in mind. They'll come up the stairs behind you. At one point here in the video, I think you'll see I kind of noticed they were coming up the stairs, so I stopped and looked for them.
Go to hell!
Somebody's shooting me, but I haven't figured out where from yet.
Moron! I'll cover your ass!
So I believe I'll just go upstairs.
You're covered! You dirtbag! Okay!
You may recognize this from story mode if you ever did the mission with Michael, where he had to come into here.
Oh my God! Find cover! Jesus!
So I'm just trying to figure out where everybody is and which way I should go and how I should get out of here. And it did look like somebody was coming up the steps here, so I waited for him to get up here. Didn't want him to shoot me from behind. Oh, this is funny. Can't believe he didn't kill me there. Ha! Okay. Get a little armor there. I skipped that. Okay.
Finish up in there and get to the evac point when you can.
So my partner is outside waiting for me, and I've just got to finish the rest of the... get through the rest of this office and get to the data.
I gotta reload! Sweet Jesus!
You found the laptop yet? Okay, that will be the laptop. Download the data and get out of there.
Cover your ass!
You got it. Head back downstairs to the exit.
Bolo! I'm
We were doing this with just 2 players, 1 on each team. It's a lot easier to come in here with, you know, more people on this team. At least 2 would be better. 3 or 4 players.
This is data we're being paid to get. Thousands upon thousands of transmissions and requests. Impossible to make sense of unless you're a supercomputer. Sorry, super network, which Avon's AI Clifford is. Getting it could help him stop a war and will help us get rich.
Unfortunately, the recovery team can't come in here to help you. They're not allowed inside, so you just gotta find your way out. I wasn't sure if all these people were on the same floor I was or not, so I was trying to figure that out and leaving kind of slowly. There's a soda machine over there if you need some help.
Moron! Fuck you!
Again, it sounds like they're pretty happy to see me.
Go in for the kill! Dirtbag! Oh, Christ! Holy ass!
My trusty combat MG.
Put the weapon down! Take him down!
There's a handful of guys down here on the main floor now on your way out. Actually, I don't think we're quite on the main floor. I think there's one more staircase. Now we're on the main floor.
You fucking pussy! Ass! Whoa!
I got some pretty mean shotguns. We were doing this on normal difficulty because we had never seen it before. I've since then done it on hard difficulty, and it's, I would say, just a little bit harder. Not a whole lot, just a little.
Shit! Oh, okay. It looks like there are people waiting outside. Watch out!
You don't have to take out all these guys, just get into the Savage.
Chopper team, find the landing location and regroup with the paramedics.
So this is about the end of the paramedics team. Let's take a look at what the recovery team had to do. So here we are in the setup for the recovery team. One player's pretty much okay for this. I'd recommend you take some sort of armored vehicle or a weaponized vehicle that's available to you. You'll be dealing with a lot of guys with some pretty serious guns when you get there, but generally one player's okay for this. You can handle it, especially in some sort of armored or weaponized vehicle. I'm going to skip the initial drive there and just get to the part where we're arriving at the scouting point. And that's where you meet up with the helicopter.
You're getting close to the intercept. Remember, we don't know where this chopper is going. Just keep your cool and follow till it stops.
Not sure why that volume got so much lower. Sorry about that. This vigilante is very handy for this particular part of the mission.
You should be able to see the chopper. Wait for it to get close and then follow it to the meet. They should almost be on top of you. Okay, follow, follow. Now keep your eyes on that bird and follow it home.
You don't have to stay immediately close to it, just generally close so you can see where it's going.
Okay, good work. The chopper is landing. We need to know who ordered the hit on that agent. That intel and a whole lot more will be in a briefcase at the meet. Take out those guards, get the information, and get that chopper too. We need everything.
So there's a couple of places you can take cover if you're here on foot. If you came in any other armored car, you'd probably be okay too. These guys are pretty good shots though. I particularly like the vigilante because the missiles on this one are just phenomenally good, especially the homing capabilities. And so far I've never damaged the helicopter using this. Makes this part of the mission quite a breeze. On foot, not so much. It's pretty challenging on foot. They come at you from several different directions.
Heads up, the paramedic team's blown their cover. This may get a little more complicated.
That's the same warning message he gives you when you're on the paramedic team and you're coming up the steps and the guards figure out you're not really a paramedic. So if you're doing the recovery, that gives you an idea where your other team is. They're working their way up the steps to the coroner's office at that point.
Intel on board. Now get that chopper.
When we get to the coroner's office and we're waiting for the crew and they jump in, all the dialogue after that
Chopper. Now you're pulling out the other team. Go to the pickup point near the coroner's office.
all the dialogue after that is the same regardless of which team you're on. So we'll just finish it out here.
When we get the chopper back, you'll be a step closer to finding out who killed that agent. And we'll be a step closer to collecting our paychecks. And going back to the easy life. Petty theft, you know, instead of theft related to serious matters of geopolitical stability. Snore.
So you just need to find a safe place to land and wait for your crew to get done inside. Here in a minute I'm going to skip ahead just to save a little time while I'm waiting for them to come out. And again, the rest of the dialogue is the same for both teams.
Hold position for now.
So we'll skip ahead now.
Chopper team, find the landing location and regroup with the paramedics. You got the band back together. Okay, now bring the gunship to the rendezvous and blast anything in your way out of the sky. Amazing how quick you went from bossing engineering teams to ordering around death squads, Avon. Hey, I've always been a killer. Metaphorically, at least. Ends over memes. The product is king. Yeah, look, the rendezvous point is some distance away. Expect them to chase, but, not forever. Please, don't bring back the cops to the drop-off. Get rid of them. I want my data, all right? Clifford needs data. Feed me, Avon. Without the data, I'm trapped in here with only my heavily processed thoughts. It's coming, boy. Hold on. Thank you, Dad. Are everyone's thoughts processed? I think that a lot. On the double, people.
I forgot when you're in a heist mission, you can't call Lester to lose your wanted level.
Hey, it's Lester. I don't listen.
You can in the preps, not in the setups or the finale.
Here they are, Avon. Data from your agent's ass for your machine. Network of machines. Anyway, good work, people. That was just about acceptable.
So that's pretty much it for this particular setup. We'll move on to the rest of them. You just have to bring in the helicopter here and land it at the rendezvous point. The next setup in Act 1 is Signal Intercepts, and I'm going to start here with a little bit of footage from during the holidays when we still had snow. We didn't use Skip Trip this time, so you'll be able to hear all of the dialogue from the beginning of this setup.
Okay, no time to waste. You're picking up those Deluxos and going after the data. The data's moving around the city. 4 separate caches, each remotely connected to a central hub. You're going to exploit a weakness in the connections, but to do that, you've got to get close. That's where the cars come in. The window is small and it's rapidly shutting. Time is of the essence here. This is the random data Avon's paying us to collect. Now when we run it through the super brain machine, Clifford, whatever he's called, it might not be random anymore. It might tell us that the world is secretly run by lizards. It might tell us we're all gonna die. It might just tell us who's buying cherry sprunk. That doesn't really matter to us. It's just an indecipherable mass of ones and zeros. The figures we should care about are the zeros at the end of Avon's check. Right, Avon? Right? Avon? Yeah, well, get it done. Before you ask, you're not in a Deluxo for the cozy feeling of nostalgia it gives you in your toes. No, they are the perfect product for our problem. And I'll let you know what that means in a second.
Okay, so there's no more dialogue now until you get to the cars. So I'm going to skip over to another instance that we did later after the holidays when the snow was gone. This one has a little bit more complete footage, so we'll watch it from here on out. So this is where you would end up after Skip Trip. Or trip skip. Which one is it? Anyway.
We're triangulating the signals. Just a minute. Okay. Get in the cars and wait for my word. Okay, we got him. Sending the locations now. You need to get close to these targets to exploit the weakness in their connections. And stay close until you've grabbed all that juicy data out of the sky. And be careful. Don't take out the targets before all the data's on board. Fried data is no good to us.
Okay, at this point you don't have the ability to hover yet. He'll tell you later when you do. The car's not equipped to do it yet. And I did say this wouldn't be a tips and tricks video, but I actually do have a tip on this particular thing. I'm going to tell you about that. As soon as Lester was done talking. When you're coming up to these vans to retrieve data from them, you'll see it'll tell you to push the right arrow to start the hack. The safest place to be is right up next to the driver. So you'll see here now that I'm next to the driver, they can't really shoot me anymore.
Come on. This is drive-through stealing. You like that, huh? It's not my best. The deluxes have been fitted with missiles. You can use them to destroy those targets now.
And there we go. Now I'm going to skip ahead, take out a little bit of the travel time here to the next one. Sorry, dude. Didn't mean to run over you, but got business to do. So you can see there, they're lighting me up pretty good. It might not hurt to have your snacks or your armor open so you can refill while you're chasing them. Oops, I shot a little too close there. Okay.
Clifford, you got that? Okay, first step complete. Alright then. Now, if I'm reading this right, the next data stores are on the water. Your car is also fitted with a hover module. Why don't you see what it can do on water? As before, get close to the targets, exploit the weakness in their connections. We are hacking a bunch of nasty data thieves here. Fraudsters and blackmailers. The worst of the worst. They'll come back at us hard if we let them, so take them down, destroy their vehicles after you get the packages.
So now that they've told you about the hover mode, you can use it.
I want these snoops showing up in my house. Let's do this, people. You're not even getting your hands dirty.
Gonna skip over there because it takes a little while to get there. So there's two sets of vans in the first round. There's two sets of dinghies in the second round. Two of them are up by the pier, and two of them are down here by the terminal. It's a little harder to stay in a safe place when you're close to these dinghies. They can pretty much shoot you wherever you are.
Successful.
I'm going to show you one more little trick about an easy way to get...
Is in the system. The data set is nearly complete.
Sorry, an easy way to get into the airport if you're down on this side of the terminal.
So here we have it. The final source is at Los Santos International. Get over there and wait for my word.
So we'll skip ahead a little bit here and I'll show you the spot that we've been using. Instead of trying to go all the way around and get in the gate, you can sneak up from the side here in hover mode. Just look for these little walls here, the flat part, and up and in. Just stay in hover mode. And now we'll skip ahead to the rendezvous point. Everybody's almost here, and off we go.
You there? The signal's coming from a plane preparing for takeoff. Get to the runway! Come on! Get close and piggyback the transmission.
You might want to get a head start on pulling up because the plane has faster liftoff than you do in the Deluxo.
The target is getting away! I need a complete data set, people. A partial set's no good to me. Remember, we only need one of you to get close for the intercept to work. Time for Deluxo's Phase 2. Pull up on the sticks, people. They should do a little more than hover. Look out! Protection details on its way. Get the data quick as you can.
And just like with the hover mode, you can't fly, raise up on the joystick and pull up.
Avon's paying us for this data, and most of us give ours away for free. Life Invader is a hell of a con job. I mean, business. It's a hell of a business.
You can't pull up before they tell you you can pull up. And I'm skipping ahead here just to show you there are helicopters chasing us. You can see them on the mini-map. They're behind me. I think they shoot me a little bit here. And my teammates there are taking them out while I'm hacking the airplane data. And then finally here we are completing this mission. Just skipping ahead to save a little time.
Okay, we've got the download. Data set complete. Now blast that plane out of the sky and let's all forget about this sorry business. Processing the data, Avon. So much information. So many possibilities. Only one truth. Down she goes! Oh yeah! Now just get the cars back and you're all done there. Try and pin that on my hairy ass Uncle Sam. Please show some decorum, alright? We're professionals. Yeah. How about until you hire robots to do all your jobs, you just get used to hearing rude and irrational outbursts, huh? Don't worry, Avon. They will all be replaced soon enough. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
Sometimes the plane busts apart and sometimes it just goes down. But here we are now, we're coming up to a parking garage and I'm just going to land on top. And that's really all there is to this setup. Once you've gotten all the data from the 3 different sources and landed here, you're done. And we got one more incoming. There we are.
Okay, we got the cars. Job well done, folks.
That's it. The final setup in Act 1 is the server farm.
Okay, there is the whistle. Get yourselves to the server farm and get me my data. We've got that a cool stealth chopper to get there quietly. Limited noise profile, low radar signature. They can't know we're coming until we've gained access to the building or they'll lock it down tight. We're taking out cameras and security before we're seen. You've got silenced weaponry, so no noises, please. Our first target is the head of security. We find the building access codes on him and then get inside. This is the big slice of the data pie, the breach of the new server farm. When the Clifford neural computer brain gets this data, he'll understand the universe and everything in it. Avon will stop the war, or stop it from starting, and we'll be rich. Good times all around. Okay.
So there's no more story dialogue between here and the time you land, so I'll skip ahead to where we're arriving at the federal building.
Mess around near the building. You want to stay high and come in to land on the helipad like a regular noose bird. This is a stealth chopper, but it's got rotors. It still is a chopper, so you're not exactly invisible. Okay, put her down, carefully. You're gonna need that bird to get out of there.
I'm going to show you the landing here and how you jump out and head down to the ladder, but we accidentally alerted a security guard and failed, so we're going to have a restart here just in a second, right up here at the helicopter again. So I cut it off there so you could hear all of the dialogue. This next part is where it would have picked up had we not failed and alerted a security guard the first time. And this is where you respawn after a fail.
Take out cameras and security on the way. This is a black op, people. It is a matter of national and international security. If these men knew why we were doing this, they would be thanking us for what we're doing here. Really.
My friend fell off the ladder there, but because we were doing this in normal difficulty, we were able to keep going.
There's a camera right ahead of you. Take it out.
The camera is on the little concrete building to the right on the front left corner. There it's blinking. And there we got it. With all these guards, you just have to take them out before they see you, and if you kill one, kill the other quickly.
Coming your way.
Don't give them a chance to alert the other guards.
You're doing good out there. Gotta keep this quiet, people. The head of security is coming out. Get into your places and get ready, people.
So they don't really tell you what your places are, but we just take cover behind all these boxes. So they don't see us while they're walking out.
Man down! Grab the codes and get inside.
And just like the other guards, just get them both quick. There we go.
You can't get down to the server farm through the main doors. Go around the side of the facility to find the entrance.
So there was a camera up on the side of the big building there, up on that flat wall that has no window gaps. It was up there somewhere. My teammate got it. And then the entrance is over here to the left, and the guard is over there near the entrance.
Come on, find the side door. You need to get in that server farm quick.
Now when we go inside, there's going to be a whole lot of dialogue, so I'm just going to tell you before we get in there, you'll save yourself a lot of heartburn if you avoid the little blue radar and try not to alert them that you're in there for as long as you possibly can.
Okay, we need to hit the servers. 4 of them. Get to the stacks, run Avon's hacks, and try and keep quiet. Then stay alive. This is Noose's West Coast server farm, the Deep State's dirty little secret, where they store our dirty little secrets. Every I-find search, every life invader stalk, every inappropriate thing you've said into or around an iFruit phone, or done in front of a panoramic TV. Everything, it's all there, laid bare on glass substrates, for the government's eyes only, until they decide differently. Okay then, our data's of slightly more operational significance than your porn site cookies, but I take your point. All that data, you know what that's worth? If Clifford could process 1/10 of that information, imagine what it would learn, what it would become. It sounds like they know you're there. Get those servers hacked as quickly as you can.
Now it looks like I might have alerted that guard, but actually my teammate said he rounded a corner and walked right into one. But that's okay. So I just wanted you to see this. This is what happens if you do alert them. They're all coming after you. It just makes it a little bit harder. They can try to shoot you also while you're hacking these servers. There's going to be a lot of story dialogue happening after we get into these servers, so I'll try to tell you a little bit about them after we get out. And I'm just trying to get my way back to location C here and take care of this guy, and then I'll go in and hack the server.
You there? Okay, you're looking at a network node manager. To circumvent the firewall, I'm going to need you to connect the nodes from our array to theirs. Connect the compatible nodes, data starts flowing. Connect incompatible nodes, it triggers an alert. Too many alerts, the server shuts down, and the data is locked. Got that? Good.
It's just important to try to remember.
News agents know you're there, and they're entering the server farm, so you've got that to look forward to.
Just try to remember what you connected,
No napping.
and they'll show you what worked and what didn't, and then reconnect the ones that didn't work, and don't put them back in the same place you had them before. Now, as for this part, I love the outside wall. I just like to run down the outside wall, and I don't stop to shoot anybody unless they're right in front of me. And your objective is to get back to the center where the round staircase was, to get back up to the elevator and get out. So I just run down this outside wall, and there's usually only a couple of guys. Now, here's the center staircase. Be careful if you're the first one here. There are guys in the staircase there. Now, we actually ended up failing here in a second. One of our guys sort of got trapped and killed. But I'm leaving this part in here because I wanted to show you a couple of things. The elevator glass is bulletproof, so if you need cover for a second, keep that in mind. And hang on while we get a little more dialogue.
Not to alarm you, but there is quite a gathering of people outside the building right now. I've got the elevator on override. When you're all there, I'll send you up.
So I wanted you to see here in a second, I take a look at the map of the server farm, at least part of it, just so you can get a glimpse of kind of the big picture of what it looks like in here. And we're just defending the area, waiting on my teammate to get here. Unfortunately, he's kind of surrounded by guards. So there's just a peek at the map. And you can see there he was kind of, and he also thought we had to kill them all, which you don't. You just need to get out. So you can see here, that's where he got killed, and we were on normal difficulty, but because of the earlier, where my teammate fell down the ladder, we had to restart here. So it's actually going to restart us now, since we had completed the hack on the servers. It's going to start us as we were leaving the servers. So I wanted you to be able to see that again, and show you how it's a little bit different every time you leave. You may not have the same number of guys in the same places as you're leaving the servers, but I still really love that outside wall. There's just very little resistance on the outside wall. It's also important to know that even if we hadn't alerted any guards prior to getting to the servers, they still are alerted when you're completed with the server hack, and you'll get this message from Lester, and you'll see them all on the way back.
But there's quite a gathering of people outside the building right now. I've got the elevator on override. When you're all there, I'll send you up.
So you'll always have this resistance coming out, even if you didn't alert them on the way in. So here's what I was saying earlier. There's just nobody over here. And I'm looking for that yellow dot in the middle. That's the exit. There's the yellow dot now. I'm almost in the middle. So just gotta work my way over. And remember, there are guys in that stairwell, so be careful going up there. I like to throw a sticky bomb up there if I'm the first one to get there, and blow them up before I go in. They're usually like halfway up. Right there. There they are. So we're all here. We jump in the elevator and off we go to deal with the guys outside. When you get outside, you can go over to the right if you need to get some health or armor. That's a great little place to take a break. And do keep in mind they can sneak up on you from the right side.
Use the ladder to get to the roof. Your chopper's still there.
I should clarify that when we came out the door and I said to the right, I meant like, you know, over to the right from the door, which is above the stairs. It's really behind us at this point. That's a great place to go duck and get some armor and snacks. So you don't really need silenced weapons at this point. All bets are off. Oddly enough, there's a lot of guys out here, but they don't seem as aggressive. Maybe because we were doing it on normal difficulty here. It really wasn't that hard to take them all out, as long as you didn't let somebody sneak up too close to you. This was like maybe the second or third time we'd ever done this. I think maybe the second. Certainly I think it was my second. So we've thinned out the crowd a little bit, and now we'll get out of here. I neglected to mention earlier, you don't have to take out every guard on your way in, just the ones that are in your way. Just to give you an example, there's a guard at the little guard shack there by the front gate. You can leave him alone when you're on your way in because he won't bother you. Now you'll see after we all get in the helicopter and we start to leave, there'll be a little more dialogue there, so I'm going to tell you this now. There'll be a pop-up at the upper left that says the pilot can put this helicopter into stealth mode, and that helps you lose the cops faster. So just pay attention to that. And we're just on our way out of here.
All on board? All right. Now lose the G-men before you even think about coming back in. We've got enough problems without the noose on our doorstep. Why is it that the institutions that can collect all the data are the least capable of doing anything with it? They won't monetize, they won't put it on the blockchain, when it's perfectly safe and secure. You think we'd have to do all this if the data was shared on the chain? I feel like we would always be doing this, yeah. When Clifford crunches these numbers, then I'll show them. Then they'll know I was right. I don't completely understand what it is, but I feel like I kind of know what it does. Blockchain. Looks like you lost them. All channels are clear. Wow, this is a buzz. Nothing gets you juice like putting employees in mortal danger, does it? Yeah, I'm just in it for the juice.
And one last little friendly piece of advice, don't forget to watch out for all those little electrical towers, because there's nothing worse than doing all that hard work and then crashing into a tower. Well, that's it for all of the Act 1 setups. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the rest of my Doomsday Heist story series of videos, including the Act 1 finale, and there's lots of other videos on my channel that you may also find helpful. A like for the video and a subscription to my channel would be greatly appreciated. Go forth and save Los Santos from Doomsday.